A drink I'll try to not slam on the table over and over again.
We'll
see.
We'll not talk about politics then. I have a feeling.
Oh, I've got a lot of opinions about politics.
Hey everyone, welcome to DrunkCastLive. Hey, episode 107 here in fabulous Don's Depot. I'm Travis.
I'm Dylan.
We're a podcast.
Yeah.
You might be hearing us as a podcast, so that's probably not surprised. We're a podcast that takes place in bars and restaurants, kind of everywhere we can, and still in Austin.
Everywhere where it's warm.
Wherever it's warm.
Ish.
Yeah, and it's just Florida now. So, and I promised Florida that I would never come back. Real quick, if you like what you're hearing so far, I'm just going to jump in, and you want to ask us some questions, 412-440-7468. Seriously, it's so easy. Just call the number, leave a voicemail, and I'll put it on my phone. You can see from the video, if you're watching it on YouTube, and you'll hear yourself talk to us and hear us talk about it.
Yeah.
That's all right?
That sounds good.
Okay.
Sure.
Tonight on the show, we have a very special guest.
Yeah,
very lucky. I actually wanted to have him on the show many moons ago. But I don't know. I think it's Josh's fault. He gave me some interesting information.
Thanks a lot, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah.
We blame Josh frequently, so that's good.
Yeah. Especially sign things that happen in and around Austin.
I gotta tell you guys, I don't know which Josh you're talking about, but I don't like him.
Yeah, it fits. It always fits with the Josh, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Eric Nagurney.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Very excited to have you come and have some drinks with us and just talk about whatever the hell's going on.
I like having drinks. I like talking about things.
Perfect.
This is perfect for me. Finally.
Yeah. And it's your first time at Don's too, so this is wonderful as well.
I've never been to this place. It's very spooky in like a charming way, not in like an I'm going to get murdered way.
Not in you have to stay here one night for a bet or something.
Yeah, my uncle's inheritance or whatever.
Right.
Which like none of my uncles are rich, so why would I even bother?
Yeah, it's kind of rude of them to be so disingenuous with their wealth.
It's very silly.
So since you're on the podcast for the first time, hopefully not the only time, we have 3 questions now.
Hello.
First question is, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking whiskey on the rocks.
Whiskey on the rocks.
I don't know what kind of
Whatever-
whiskey it is
yeah.
because I did not specify.
Sure. That's
It's good.
Bartender's favorite drink to pour, I'm sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
Second question is, what is your spirit animal?
Huh. Gosh. This is not a thing I've ever thought about. What my spirit animal is.
Especially before the drinks kick in.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like 4 more whiskeys I'll have.
Or the ayahuasca.
I'll be right at you like lemur. It's clearly lemur. Why would you even ask me? Can't you tell I'm a lemur?
Well, if you can't choose now and you have to wait until it's a lemur, you're gonna have to stay as a lemur. So
might still be a lemur.
Still be a
like
lemur,
they're
okay.
small and kind of like wiry.
sure.
That's kind of me.
And wise? Are they wise?
I don't know. I think they're okay.
I don't really know the personality of a lemur
No.
besides those 2 things.
I know they've been trained for movie acting on occasion,
Sure,
so I guess
sure.
they're okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
That sounds pretty good. Smart enough to act. Smart enough for me.
Perfect.
All right.
So the third question, especially for people I think that might have actually been on podcasts and had questions asked about them, I'd like to try to ask a question that you probably have never been asked before. So here it goes.
Okay.
What was the last time you bought a dishwasher?
I've never bought a dishwasher in my life.
Wonderful.
Yeah, they've always, whatever place I've been at has already had one.
Already been there.
Yeah.
Great.
Are you getting these questions out of a Mad Libs or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When was the last time you bought
it's on my
a
phone.
dishwasher?
It only cost $2.
Is this some like the master personality test thing?
Well, yeah,
Yes.
you're a triangle now. So
Yeah.
far.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. Whatever that actually will.
These
turn
aren't
out to.
actually microphones. They're very sensitive e-meters. Yeah.
It goes right to goes right to the back of a 17 magazine to figure out if you're dateable or not.
I see. No, clearly not.
Well, I mean, a lemur, triangle, doesn't care to own a dishwasher. I mean, those are all those are great traits for me. I
To
don't
be
know.
fair, I care to own one.
Sure,
I've just
sure.
never been put in the position where I've needed to buy one.
Someday,
One day
I have that dishwasher money.
The American dream.
Admittedly, like my dishwasher's not great. Like it's
Okay.
an okay dishwasher, and really, if I had the money, that wouldn't be a bad investment.
Okay. Now, if you're listening, you want to maybe go to our website and you can donate to the dishwasher fund that we're setting up for Eric Nagurney.
Yeah. I think it's a good
Go to
cause.
DrunkCastLive.com. And just throw some money in the coffers there, and I mean we'll wind up buying drinks for him, so he's not spending the money on those drinks, so he can then.
Well, we buy the
dishwasher
dishwasher to clean the glasses in which the drinks are poured.
Oh sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, okay.
It's
okay.
a circle.
Man.
Yeah.
Right. Being that's pragmatic. I like
Yeah.
it.
This is a long con you guys are going for, and I don't totally understand like the end game here.
Perfect. That's the best kind of con.
That's
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
DrunkCast.
The con without any kind of plan is my favorite kind of pun. That is DrunkCast. Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Have you asked people the dishwasher question before?
No. They're going to be
Okay.
they're going to be unique to every person.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Because I was
yeah.
just curious if anyone had been like, yes, actually, I've bought many dishwashers, or even one. I don't think I know anybody who's ever bought a dishwasher.
Definitely not Josh Woodyard.
not that guy.
That guy.
That's it winds up being a funny gag for us because at one point we accidentally talked. We made a joke about him, and he really took him seriously. He referred to himself as Mark Maron. He was so upset about it. So yeah, sorry, Josh. You're gonna have to. It's the Streisand effect or whatever. Is that right? That's not right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, that's sort of right, I think.
Is it somewhere
Yeah.
like in the vein somewhere in there?
Because that's where, like, if there's something terrible or embarrassing
And you
about
try to hide
yourself-
it.
Yeah, if you try to hide it, it's obviously just going to be more out there in the world.
And Josh is our
Okay.
He's your Barbara
yeah,
Streisand.
he's our Barbara Streisand. Yeah, that's fine.
Worst things to be in the world.
So yeah, first time here, Don's. How long have you been in Austin?
I've been in Austin for 4 years now. Yeah, pretty much
4 years.
exactly 4 years.
Right.
I moved in October of 2010.
Okay, great.
I got real scared that I did the math wrong in that, which would have been very bad because
Sure.
2014 minus 2010, that's pretty easy.
Yes, it is. Oh, where'd you come from before?
I came from Hattiesburg, Mississippi,
Okay.
the hub city.
Okay. Did you come from Mississippi to Austin for comedy, or did you come
No.
just in general?
Just to
I
escape
came-
Mississippi.
Just to get away from
Yep,
Mississippi. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the correct answer, to escape Mississippi. No, I came because I was at a party one night, and my roommate, who I've been roommates with for the past 4 years, just like turned to me and was like, "Hey, Eric, you want to move to Austin?" And I was like, "I am doing nothing in this town right now. I don't have a job. I'm living with my parents." Yes, that sounds wonderful.
Great. Great.
All right.
That's the best reason. It's probably most people's reasons of moving here, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So has it worked out so far?
Oh yeah, it's great. It's worked out swimmingly. I have little to no complaints. You know what I'm gonna say? No complaints.
Really? No complaints?
No complaints. I never complain about anything.
Anything
Or
ever.
No complaints on like a macro level of this city compared to being in Mississippi.
Right. Right. Where did you do any stand up before you moved here?
No, I started doing stand up about a year into living here
Okay.
because I
3
had,
years ago.
Yes, 3 years ago. I've been doing stand up for 3 years. Oh, the math checks out. This guy's okay. He's keeping his story straight.
He gotta, yeah. We let the fact checker at home anyway, so we have to make sure.
Good. I feel less pressure. I can make up anything now.
Yep.
But yeah, I started a year in. I had this job about like 4 months into moving to Austin that was the worst job I've ever had, and I've worked at a gas station in Mississippi, so that's saying
Ooh,
something.
wow.
Yeah. It was this job where I was like doing data entry on all these death certificates.
Oh, wow.
From like turn of the century, like early 1900s.
Oh, wow.
And I do it from like 3 to midnight. So,
even better.
yeah, it was great. I don't see any elements here that could bring on depression whatsoever. But like while I was doing that, all I would do is like listen to like comedy podcasts.
Sure.
And I just like hear people talk about doing stand up, and I was like, oh, this seems more accessible because now I hear these people talking about doing stand up, and they're great now, and they talk about how they were terrible at it before. And I don't think I ever realized. I was like, oh no, you have to get good at that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh well, if those
it's a
guys
wet. You have to have a whetstone on which to. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I was like, oh, well, I want to start doing stand-up. This would be great. But I also have this job that I have to work at whenever stand-up is happening. Oh, well. And then long story short, I left that job. I got another job and then was immediately fired from that job.
Great.
And I was
Great.
like, well.
What was that job?
It was working at a screen printing place.
Okay.
And you are familiar with the television program It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The person who fired me was the aunt of the waitress from that show. So also Charlie Day's aunt-in-law.
Okay.
So I've got that under my belt, which is also ironic because I get told I sound and look like Charlie Day.
Sure. Yeah.
So I've put together a theory that lady hates Charlie Day, and I reminded her too much of him.
Yeah. I can't get him that many times.
That sounds solid to me.
Yeah.
Because they didn't give me a reason for being fired. There's like, you don't fit in with this company.
Right.
Goodbye.
Right. There's something about you
Yeah.
that's Charlie Day-ish.
Something is off-putting.
Right.
I don't care for it. So yeah, I didn't have that job anymore, and then I was like, well, I have all this free time, and I've been wanting to do stand-up, and clearly I have nothing standing in my way now, so you should start doing stand-up, and then I did.
Great.
Awesome.
Great. What was the well, actually, I'll go into that in the second segment. I'll talk about some of your works and some of your tweets. I want you to explain some of your tweets because,
Okay.
yeah, because there's a lot of like stream of conscious there that I love. Yeah, okay. So what were you doing before Mississippi? You were born and raised in Mississippi?
Born, yeah.
Okay. Family was there the whole time.
Yes, I lived there the first 23 years of my life.
And what do you think of the comedy scene here? Are you enjoying the people that you're meeting?
The comedy scene here is wonderful.
Is it?
I once again have nothing but good things to say about it.
Good. No complaints about comedy either. Great.
No, not really.
Yep.
If the complaints I have are so specific that no one would ever care.
Sure.
And like if you look at them from any perspective, like that's not a big deal.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Microphone quality someplace, or like
Buddy,
hate driving to that one. Hate that one kick butt coffee out of all of them. It's like full of racists or whatever.
I'm never doing another Double Daves ever again.
Let's not play a little bit.
You guys are talking about some open mics that haven't existed for years, you know? That Double Dave's one's been gone for a second. That other kick butt coffee doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, burned down. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
because someone
haunted by ghosts, yes.
this damn racist ghost.
The worst kind
The
of
worst
ghost.
kind of ghost. Yeah.
I'll hang out with a vengeful spirit as long as he doesn't have prejudices.
Get out of my bedroom, bigot. Awesome. Let's go ahead and take our first break so we can make the second segment a little bit longer, and then and we'll be back after this.
Yay.
Hooray.
Break.
And how's your soda?
Missing vodka.
Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Hello.
Hey. I mean,
Yay.
as long as everyone's ready to come back to the show.
I'm ready.
Cool.
Wait, we did it.
We did it. Yay. I predicted that correctly. So, yeah, segment two. Segment two is
Double Deuce.
General topic. Yeah, the Double Deuce.
Yeah.
Still talking with Eric Nagurney. And I'm pronouncing that right? I've
You nailed it.
Good.
Nagurney.
Good. Because I kept getting Adam Rabick's name wrong.
Did you put an H in there?
I did, yeah. I'm a
That'll
terrible
happen.
person. Whatever.
It makes sense. There's an H in there.
Yeah.
Well, it's got no business being in that name.
Right. Like
My-
like Herb.
Like
know?
herb.
Like
yes.
herb.
But not like herb.
Well, right. No one says herb. Not actually.
I mean,
It's a joke, like drop bears. They don't actually exist.
wait, like what?
Like drop bears? You never heard of drop
I
bears?
don't know about drop
Yeah.
bears.
Drop bear is an internet-only thing. It's an Australian myth that is perpetuated on the internet. It's not a koala bear. It's a bear that no one's ever been able to take a picture of, and it's a way of telling or to fuck with tourists.
Oh, okay.
So a drop bear will drop out of a tree and kill you if you get too close to trees.
Well, I think 99% of all animals that are indigenous to Australia are trying to kill you at all
Are
given time.
dangerous in
Yeah.
some way. Yeah. That's why when Pangea happened, Australia was the first thing to get pushed away. Get the fuck away from me! Your spiders are incredible. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for being on the show.
No problem.
I like the album a lot.
Thank you.
What was the deal with the recording of that? Was that planned? 'Cause the one thing I have no insight on when it comes to stand-up comedy is how to prepare the settings, the recording equipment, how to actually record an album. And it was cool to see that you had one that is actually funny that
Thank you.
you could show to people and say, hey, I did this thing.
Yeah.
Was that set up? Did you have to pay for that, or was that part of what they do?
No, what the deal was is I kind of backdoored my way into having an album recorded.
Great.
Because my friends Wes Corwin and your previous guest Paul Harrison run the show every month called Alpha Test.
Oh yeah, Alpha Test. Yeah.
At Tribe Comics and Games, and I was booked to headline that in August.
Right.
And then a couple weeks before that, I was like, oh, Paul records a podcast at the end of all the shows.
Right.
I could just have him record my set, and then if the set goes well, I can just release that as an album.
Yeah.
That's about half an hour of comedy. That's about, I think, about as long as like a first comedy album should be.
Should be, yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
if you're only like 3 years into this.
Sure,
Nobody needs an hour long from me yet.
Even 40 minutes is ballsy.
Yeah.
That's
You're taxing people's patience at that point.
Yeah.
So I was like, well,
we already have one Dane Cook. It's cool. Yeah.
that's
One too many. Yeah.
We were about to jinx, and we're about to owe each other a Coke.
Yeah.
I'm willing to risk that for the sake of shaming Dame Cook.
Sure.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's worth $1.25 depending on the size of the Coke. But yeah, I knew I had this thing coming up, and I was like, well, I wanted to put out an album because albums are kind of my preferred way of listening to stand-up comedy. I've always preferred them to specials for whatever reason. Yeah. And it's like, I really want to put out an album, and it always kind of bugged me that, like, bands put out albums early in their career all the time, but stand-up comedians don't really. It usually takes a super long time, and that's part logistically because you have to record that album in a live setting, whereas as a band you can go to a recording studio.
Yep.
But I was like, well, if I had this opportunity to put out this thing I want to put out, I should go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And then it did.
Well, you bring up the interesting parallel too, especially between bands and stand-up comedy. By the time that you want to record an album stand-up comedy, you probably need to have people listen to it to find out what you need to change and what you need to tweak. While a band can probably just play a song until they find it perfect and then record it.
Yes.
So that's interesting. And it's good. It's called I Love It Though.
I Love It Though.
And it is on Bandcamp. And $5 is a great price point too.
Yeah.
If you listen to this and you like comedy, I think you should check it out.
I also think you should check out the album I made. Weird opinion. I like the thing I did.
Is it sold through Bandcamp? I've seen it. Okay.
Yeah, you can also stream it for free if you would also like to do this. Maybe this isn't good salesmanship, but yeah, you can also have this thing for free.
I mean, if 9 Inch Nails can do it, you'll make money eventually. You're just as big as 9 Inch Nails.
I've always said I'm the Trent Reznor of comedy.
Oh yeah.
Hey, why not?
Yeah, why not?
There's no reason why not, besides the fact that makes no sense.
Well, I mean, that hasn't stopped people before.
This is true. You can say you're the whatever of comedy, and people can't physically stop you. So
Michael Jordan of Dane Cooks. So I'll put a link up for the thing.
Don't do that.
I'm sorry. I know that's like. I say it one more time and he shows up too. We don't want that to happen.
More the Larry Bird of Richard Pryor's, I think.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
They both had froze. That's cool.
Yeah.
Right. Misremembered for many reasons, like they're froze.
It's about time someone's been comparing Larry Bird and Richard Pryor.
It's just been too long.
It's been too long.
It's brave. Well, we do firsts on this show.
Yeah.
We're trendsetters.
You're a groundbreaking podcast. Breaking off ground.
So like I love the new way, and I'll ask you about this too, because I love how Twitter helps comedians specifically. Like from Patton Oswalt being able to make basically a series of trolls,
so good.
Adam Rabick's Twitter feed, your Twitter feed, it seems like it's a place where you can actually just let something go and see where traction comes.
Yeah.
And refine things. But I love a couple of these. I just want you to explain a couple of these.
Sure.
So where were you and what did you think of when you said everybody could be lying to us about what's in volcanoes and we'd never know?
I was at the open mic that I run.
Okay.
And that was just a thought that popped into my head. I was like, I've never seen the inside of a volcano. I'm never going to see the inside of a volcano.
Yep.
I have no like firsthand proof that volcanoes are what they are.
Right.
There could be anything inside there.
Big green sheet.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. You
That-
can just throw. Yeah.
All the footage I've seen of volcanoes could be special effects. I'll never know.
Yeah. Could be full of sarlacc or whatever.
Could be.
Anything.
Cookie
Yeah.
dough.
Probably isn't.
Cookie
Could
dough.
be though.
I'm hoping it's cookie dough. Yeah.
I'll be mad if it's cookie dough because I'll be mad that people are keeping that from me.
Yeah. Well, that's the resource of cookie doughs. Yeah. I mean, that seems like a pretty easy tourist trip too. You know. Like,
Yeah.
Let's go check out the cookie dough.
It's Mount St. Tollhouse.
Mount St. Tollhouse. Yeah.
You don't even have to like pretty that up. You can just say, "Hey, do you want to see a hole full of cookies?" Any tourist are like, "Yeah, definitely, absolutely."
Just hey, you see this hole full of cookies I found?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
I would like that very much.
And the Earth's core is actually turning them into cookies, so they're safe to eat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
baking it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're baking a lolly.
Great.
Yeah.
Second tweet, I absorbed a twin in the womb, and boy, that lady was whiny about it. I'll get out of my womb and stop absorbing my child. And how? Where were you? And why?
That was this morning when I was having brunch by myself.
Okay.
At Cafe Java on Metric.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about the phrase absorbed a twin in the womb. And usually people just say absorbed a twin. They don't say my twin.
No.
That could be anybody's twin.
A twin, any womb, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just got to think of what a bizarre image. Someone somehow getting in some other lady's womb and absorbing their child. And how mad that person
And how
would
super
be.
bad, yeah. And I love the and how. Finally, one big room full of Don Cheadle. I felt like I'm missing a reference there. Like,
Are you familiar with the Krayshawn song Gucci Gucci?
known.
Okay, well, that'll help
I am
you.
now.
The chorus of that song is one big room full of bad bitches. And I'm weirdly obsessed with Don Cheadle as like a person.
Yeah.
And just that was in my head. Don Cheadle was in my head. And I was like,
Put 'em
one
together.
big room.
Yeah, like a
Full
volcano
of
and
Don Cheadle.
cookie dough. Two great tastes great together.
Two great tastes.
That'd be a
And
cool
then-
ass room to be in, man.
Yeah. Also, not specifying if it's a lot of Don Cheadles or it's a big room with just Don Cheadles hanging out by himself.
Full of Don Cheadle would then be a small room with you and just Don Cheadle.
Yeah, a
Or-
closet.
Closet, yeah. And he has a gun, and he won't get out of the closet.
Yeah.
But then again, Don Cheadle's personality so big that he fills any room. He's like
No,
a
that's,
gas.
that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. Well, we have to figure out what the capacity size of a Don Cheadle to find out how you can make it full.
I think you only need one Don Cheadle to fill any room.
Fill any room, yeah. Especially like Carnegie Hall.
Oh, yeah.
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 You can fill. Yeah, you
Just
can fill
with
Carnegie
his
Hall.
swagger alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm glad I could adequately explain all of these.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I really appreciate that you asked me because sometimes people will say that like my comedy style is random, and that always really bums me out because like no, there's an explanation for all of this.
Yep,
It's
yep.
just very absurd and sometimes abstract.
And that's my favorite anyway. So
No,
I might be biased.
There
in
have been a
that-
bunch of comedians
that
over the years who have made entire careers out of being abstract and weird and silly. So
sense. Like especially
Emo Phillips,
Emo Phillips.
No,
Yeah.
Phillips are wonderful. Like him.
Richard, Stephen Wright. was
Stephen
actually-
Wright is what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eugene Merman's kind of my like big influence in that.
That was actually my next
Yeah.
question. Is like, well, your influences in comedy. Eugene Merman.
Eugene Merman, there you go.
Yeah, perfect. Well, that.
Moving on. Next
All right,
question.
so let's take a break now. I saved 10 minutes for that question. No, yeah, Eugene Merman's great. It doesn't stop there, though, right?
Oh no.
Okay, good.
No, I like other comedians that aren't Eugene Merman. My number one, my big guy, up there is Paul F. Tompkins is my
Oh, yeah.
all-time
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah.
I think listening to his albums while I had that terrible job was one of the things I was like, man, I want to do what this guy does.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
is great.
Yeah.
Paul F. Tompkins is up there. I was really into David. I'm still into David Krause, but I was really into David Krause as a teenager.
Of course, yeah.
Mitch Hedberg was another big one for me.
David Cross is interesting, too, because there's two parts to his acts, really. Like, the first part feels like an angsty guy. But then you can come back as an adult and you can hear it and say, yeah, actually, there was more stuff to unpack here than just being pissed off that some guy called you a queer when you're waiting for beer or something, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
God stuff and, like, you know.
I'm always a little weirded out because people seem to call David Krause misanthropic a lot, which I understand that to a certain extent, but I'm like, I
Sure.
feel like there's more warmth and humanity there than people are willing to give him credit for.
Yeah. Because everything's so pointed.
Well, he did that Chipmunks movie, so you know he has the heart somewhere.
And he's very proud of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, let me correct you real quick. He did 3 of those Chipmunks movies.
So his heart is 3 times as big as I thought it was. Wow.
Yeah.
What a humanitarian.
Yeah, and his apartment's 3 times as big now too.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. I think I read somewhere he did that strictly for the big giant paycheck. But
Yeah.
That was his words specifically. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing an interview. I think it was like maybe Patton Oswalt, like kind of calling him out, and I was like, "Well, I did this movie, and now I have a new house. This was easy to get this new house. You can see the appeal here."
Yeah, the Mr. Show DVD sales weren't quite cutting it.
No.
Which is a shame, really.
Yeah.
So you said you host an open mic, right?
Yes.
Where do you
It
host
is
it?
at Hotel Vegas.
Oh, yeah,
Every
yeah.
Monday at 8:30.
That seems like a good venue for drinking, but I haven't seen I haven't seen it opened up for that.
It's definitely a good venue for drinking. That's true.
Yeah.
It's, I will say, I think a good open mic. It's an interesting one. It has
Sure.
a bit of a different atmosphere because you have a lot of people just kind of passing through who are just like on E6 and like, oh, let's see what's going on here.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, most of our crowd is people waiting for the bands that are going to play afterwards.
Yeah, sure.
And they're usually very nice and like pretty supportive and a game audience, which is good. But it is like a little different than a lot of the other open mics, which are either people who have come to an actual comedy club or theater to see comedy,
destination.
or people hanging out at coffee shops and like, oh, comedy's happening now.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I guess I'll put my phone down for a second.
I guess I'll stop working on this. I hate saying screenplay because that's not really specific. But back to my term paper. That's more of an Austin-centric thing.
Yeah.
I try not to make the screenplay joke because I don't think that many people write screenplays here.
No.
I feel like that's a very LA joke that other comedians have picked up on.
Just say it's your food blog.
Yeah, food blog. I was
There
gonna say
you
food
go.
blog. Yeah.
That's much better. I am stealing that from you, and I'm not using that joke.
I'm just doing a review in this food truck I was at this morning. You know, huge.
Last part of this, and of course we'll lump all the things that you do by the end. But you're also. I just got an invitation to the thing that is happening tomorrow.
Yes.
Well, it's called Set Unset.
Set reset.
Set reset.
Close enough.
Explain.
Yeah, most of it.
What is Set Reset? It's like an improv-ish
Yeah,
thing?
it is a somewhat hard thing to explain, but I'm going to try my damnedest.
Great.
Because I need to learn how to explain the show I run. It is a stand-up comedy show where stand-ups do about 8 minutes of their material, and then they're forced to redo that material under like some sort of weird condition.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of it's a mixture of improv and stand-up.
Ah, that's cool.
Last time we did it, we had someone had to retell one of their jokes as if they were a dinosaur. We've had people tell them as if they're ghosts, as if they're like having a hard conversation with their parents, et cetera,
Right.
et cetera.
Right.
And then some like real simple ones like tell a joke while doing jumping jacks,
Sure,
stuff like that.
sure.
So,
Who decides what the condition is?
me and my co-host Katie Stone write a lot of them, but we tell the audience, hey, if you guys want to write any suggestions,
Oh, cool.
do that. So far, the audiences haven't really taken up on it a lot,
Sure,
but
sure.
the other comedians hanging out at the New Movement have. So
Great.
Good.
It works.
At New Movement. Okay, that was the last question there.
Oh yeah, it's at the
Yeah.
New Movement Theater,
Great.
7th Milwaukee.
Sounds awesome. I hope any person who's asked to redo their material as a ghost just doesn't like elongate their vowels, you know, like, oh, so what's the deal with coffee? Or whatever. That would suck.
Have you seen this?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a lot louder than I thought. That means we're out of time.
Yeah, it does.
Did the mic pick up that beep that we all heard, or did we all just freak out about nothing?
It was a ghost. It was a spooky ghost.
Ah!
Oh my God, it's time. We all realized at the same time it was time to take a break. So we'll come back with more Eric Nagurney and we'll get refills and stuff after this. Sounds
Yay.
great.
Break.
that a plot in Fantastic Four that the Thing has erectile dysfunction?
Yes. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
Segment 3, the Fightin' 3.
Yes, it is.
We're still at Don Stevo in Austin, Texas. You're still listening to a podcast called DrunkCastLive, and you can still subscribe.
And we still have a special guest.
Yes. We still have Eric Nagurney still hanging out with us. So now this is
Hello.
our general. This is topics. This is some of the things that I sent you. Dylan actually found some more things to talk about. Since of course there is the conversation about comedy and comedians doing comedy without cars or whatever. Maybe with some coffee. I don't know. Bill Cosby. Do we want to talk about Bill Cosby?
The fleebly dibsy busy boat.
Do we?
Yeah, right. That's the question.
Yeah.
Now, as semi-pro fake journalists,
Yeah.
we have to bring it up to say we're not going to talk about it if we don't want to talk.
I
about
will
it, which is fine.
I'll put it in this context. He was one of 2 celebrities this week who don't understand social media,
Don't understand.
and both reached out to social media to saying, "Hey, help me do stuff," and got buried under a mountain of "you're kind of a douchebag"
That's-
responses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an amazing miscalculation on whoever worked for him.
Yeah.
Part.
I love it. It's wonderful to me. Was it you who brought up the theory that perhaps the person who was part of Bill Cosby's social marketing team said, "Well, I know he did these things. Let's see if the internet will bring it to light."
Oh, that was not me.
It wasn't you. I can't remember who that was.
That's a good theory, though.
Yeah. But so, as mostly for preface, Bill Cosby's team, or I don't know if it's a team anymore, decided to go to Twitter and say, "Hey, here's some pictures of us on our website. You can make a
Make
meme,
me meme, yeah.
using pictures of Bill Cosby," and it turned into a lot of rape accusations.
Rape jokes, yeah.
Rape jokes. So within the same week,
Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz,
Yeah.
This
that
I'm less familiar with.
handsome gentleman, I guess. So Dr. Oz has been he's been under fire for pushing too many pills, basically stuff that nothing can be verifiable scientifically
Yeah.
as being health beneficial at any point, whatever.
Okay.
And he has several houses because of it.
Yeah.
So he went to the internet, he went to Twitter, and he said, "Hey, do you have any questions for me? Reply
Yeah.
Oz in inbox, and I'll answer my favorites." And what came? Oh, yes.
In his case, I actually really like some of the ones that came. A lot of them
Yeah,
were,
yeah.
you're stupid. But some of them were actually interesting. Like, I'm getting the words slightly off, but it was something to the effect of, "Dr. Oz, can you make it through an episode without using the words
Yeah.
miracle,
That's the one I was going to yeah.
toxin, or..."
Yeah. Can you go an entire show without saying the words miracle, toxin, and belly fat?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Can twerking cure pertussis? I just got my flu shot. When can I expect to develop autism? And I accidentally dropped my sonic crystals in the dirt. Are they dishwasher safe?
In his case, I think some of the criticism was definitely not as mean.
Sure.
But I think actually
Sure.
much more clearly deserved, because he
Right.
does push miracle pills to reduce your belly fat. That is,
Right.
Yeah.
Constantly.
And there was an article, I think I'm not sure if I showed it or not, but a couple weeks ago, a doctor in medical school in New York was like complaining to his state board, because he's like, "I'm in medical school, I'm learning all this stuff, and I'm watching this douchebag on TV who's going to have the same credentials as I will when I pass on my boards."
Right.
And he's a complete quack.
Right.
And I can prove it because I'm in school learning all these stuff. So I'm being told to not say these things.
Right.
And here he is saying these things.
Right. Right.
And it was an open letter. And it was really go read, but he makes money. So.
Yeah. He's going to keep doing it. Although he did have to go in front of a congressional committee at some point. I don't know how that actually turned out. To
Well,
ask,
you know how
ask the
Congress
questions.
works, so,
right.
yeah.
Right. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, Big Toxin had their day in court.
Big toxin. Yeah.
You won't flush me, sir. You'll never flush me.
In random, really exciting, fantastic, amazing science news, because we did kind of talk about a person who's lying about science in general, we landed on a fucking comet.
Yeah, that's
it's
neat.
Pretty
That is
freaking cool.
Fucking neat.
I do need to preface, I'm not going to have any good insights for any of these stories.
Okay, sure.
But I do think that's very neat that we
Yep,
landed
yep.
on that comet.
Yep, yep.
It's pretty damn cool.
10 years of preparation to land on. I mean,
10 years of flight.
Yeah, 10 years of flight. Whipped around the Earth several times.
3 times.
3 times.
And once around Mars.
And once around Mars.
Yeah.
Oh, so much beautiful math. I just like it.
Yeah,
It's huge nerd boner. Excuse me.
No, it's warranted.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the idea we threw a thing the size of a refrigerator into space at 80,000. Well, we got it.
And hope that its toaster would land.
We got it up to 80,000 miles an hour
Yeah.
through throwing it around the Earth a couple of times.
Yeah, yeah.
And managed to hit a moving target in space
It's incredible to me.
perfectly, and then land something on it.
And no matter what any person who was part of this project was wearing, good Lord,
it wasn't the smartest wardrobe decision, but not because of anything
Speaking
offensive.
of miscalculations.
It was just,
Sure.
it was an ugly shirt.
Well, that was a gift from a friend, a female friend who made it for him specifically.
Oh, really?
So he was going to be on TV. And
Wait, what?
Yeah, that he wanted to wear that because it was a friend
his
who made him his thing.
girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or a girl who was his friend. I don't think the guy would wear a shirt like that who actually has a girlfriend, but
I don't
No,
know,
that doesn't seem like a girlfriend having
He had some
shirt.
sweet tats for a scientist. So.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a full sleeve. Yeah.
well, the poor guy was shamed so hard that he cried in his apology, and it's sad. That wasn't me.
No, but
that wasn't me
cheers
tearing
to
up or anything.
science.
But cheers to sance. Yeah, cheers to
Yeah.
science. That's
Science
most
is
important.
it's pretty good.
It's pretty important.
I'm glad people are doing it because I am certainly not.
Yeah.
It's making life a lot easier for me.
Thank you, scientists, for
Do you-
showing up. Eric will not be there.
I forget the exact details of what this was from, but do you think he was trying to be like that mohawked NASA guy from a few years
Yeah,
back?
from the
I've
Mars
heard-
lander, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
Where it was like,
Maybe.
oh, this guy.
Maybe.
This guy went away from the typical image of the NASA scientist, and
Yeah,
people loved him.
yeah,
I'll do
yeah.
the same thing, and just kind of screwed the pooch on that, though.
Unfortunately, tanked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your dad doesn't have a mohawk or wear shirts like that, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's just a chief operating officer or whatever, or tech officer, CTO, whatever.
What's this?
His dad actually works at NASA.
Oh,
My
crazy.
dad does work at NASA, but he's a hired nerd, very high up in the hired nerds, but whatever.
Hey, my mom worked at NASA for a while. She was like a secretary, but
Okay.
she worked at the Stennis Space Center in Mississippi.
Oh, right.
Nice.
Oh, right.
So there you go.
Sure.
All
So
right.
we're basically brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm going to real upset if my mom listens to this and she wasn't a secretary there, because I don't know what she did, but I know she doesn't have any degrees in anything
Sure.
sciencey, so
She was something very important that you forgot a long time ago.
Yep.
You're like,
Too busy
"All
being 8."
She was a secretary, whatever.
yeah.
Whatever. She was a woman. Something else.
Oh boy, now I sound terrible.
Well, I mean,
Whoops.
it keeps with the theme. So
Yeah.
It was Mississippi.
the other thing is comedy-wise, Amy Schumer.
Yeah, you can say pussy now in Comedy Central.
So how did that come
Nice.
like, how did that happen? Like, she just kept pushing their...
it was specifically, it was in the link I sent over.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the things she did was a sketch where she was going to do voiceover work for an animated feature.
Okay.
And so they had like Jessica Alba, Megan Fox were the other two voices of these three
Sure,
meerkats.
sure.
She was a third, and hers was a big giant fat piece of goo with literally her vagina hanging out. Like, and
Okay.
So part
Okay.
of the thing is like the Japanese had never seen anything that big before. They didn't know how to put pants on it. They couldn't animate pants. Anyway, so that alone is a funny thing. But part of that was like, yeah, you can see your pussy. And the censor's kind of fighting back, and she wrote a letter, basically like an open letter saying, look, here are all these other shows on TV
Yeah.
where you can say dick, and you can refer to a
Yep.
penis as a dick.
Yep.
Why can't I do it? And she won.
That's a pretty darn good argument.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty ironclad.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
her argument was kind of based on equality, like female equality. Like, look, if a dude can look at another dude and say, hey, man, I can see your dick, she, as a woman, can say, hey, I can see your pussy.
I can see your pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was her argument, just fairness.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
It played. So,
And it won. So
Yeah.
now we have that.
yeah, thanks, Amy Schumer.
Making steps.
Yeah.
It's like landing a comet.
Yeah,
Or landing on a
it's-
comet.
One pussy at a time.
One, yes. One small step
It
forward.
is
yeah.
the swear word version of landing on a comet.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's a Larry Bird of pussies landing on comets.
Amy Schumer has been playing that for 10 years. She finally did it.
Good on her.
Good on her, yeah. Oh, and Bono's jet. Okay. So what from
Go
the
on.
topics, Eric, that you liked or popped up, or something that you saw this week that you thought would be interesting in mixed
Oh,
company?
I don't have anything to
Anything
be
at all?
honest.
Okay.
I've been real busy this week, and I'm not that well informed in general.
Perfect.
So, you know.
Perfect. So,
All right.
so politics. Then.
Yeah.
Tad less Disney, sure. What about you, Dylan? What did you think?
What was some of the other good stuff? Can't remember what I wrote anymore.
Yeah, well, a lot of it's going to be Cosby stuff. So Bono's private jet door fell off.
Yeah,
Like,
but apparently he survived.
well,
Yeah.
sure. We can't.
You can't kill Bono.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be alive long past any of us.
Yes, he's going to kill us all. He will be at our
He
funerals.
won't kill us all. He will kill us all and ironically give our remains to a starving nation, though.
Yeah.
Oh no, sure. He's
It's-
going to do
it's
something really
Bono.
good somehow.
Yeah.
And we're still going to think he's a
He'll
piece of
spin it.
Yeah, he'll spin it.
He'll make future albums out of our ashes, and then give them to unwanted children.
Now that's a Prince move, you know. Let's be serious here.
Okay.
Prince
Fair
would do
enough.
that, yeah.
That's a little more
Yeah.
mystic mumbo jumbo
Yeah.
than
Sure.
U2's usually.
Yeah,
U2's kind of straight missionary Christian.
Right.
Or at
You
least-
don't call yourself Edge if you are actually edgy. You can't cut your wrist on that. What else? Megan Kelly introducing Mike Fuckabee.
Fuckabee,
Yeah. Got to fight for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Boo Boo Gate. So we need another Boo Boo Gate update. So what is up with Boo Boo Gate?
Oh, I didn't even.
You just saw the Boo Boo Gate and was like, all right.
What is
There were-
Boo Boo Gate?
All right, so we've been following the tawdry, what the tawdry tale of the poor Boo Boo. Here comes Honey Boo Boo.
Mama June.
Mama
So I guess
June.
I didn't watch the whole interview because it was way too long for my attention span.
Honey Boo Boo is what
Yeah,
you're
but
talking- I
apparently
gotcha now.
Mama June knew there was some sexual abuse going on.
Great.
Like with her daughter and her boyfriend, and it was somehow it's like going, well, it's okay, he's better now. I don't know. It was
Sure.
I couldn't even follow anymore. It was the rabbit hole just.
Well,
nah.
we tried to keep following it, you know, and it just got too serious. But
yeah, it's quite disturbing.
we did try, listeners, to tell you the story that the liberal media was
Doesn't
too
want
scared to
to
tell about the truth of Boo Boo Gate. People in Texas are dumb.
Skitty Gate.
Yeah, Skitty Gate. I think it was mostly like covered.
What was the Texas thing? I
I
forgot.
felt like the Texas thing was Katie.
Oh yeah, the $58 million for a high school football stadium.
What?
Oh God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeesh.
yeah.
Well, I mean, Texas especially would pay for it. I mean,
Yeah, that's...
Texas is pretty serious about their high school football for some fucking reason.
What? That doesn't sound right to me. Sure you're not talking about South Dakota?
South Dakota or
yeah,
Mississippi.
apparently it was like a $700 million bond for the city of Katy, and they included in that bond was $58 million for a new high school football
Did it
stadium.
pass?
Good God.
Oh wow. It's easy to walk
mean-
in and press a button.
Yeah.
God.
Well, supposedly it'll seat 10,000 people, and 4 schools will play there.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, apparently a couple of years ago there was a $60 million stadium built up near Dallas that was condemned 2 years later because it didn't meet code.
Okay.
I started thinking to myself, and I was like, well, Eric, you don't know how much it costs to build things, really. And that probably does make money. You'll probably make their money back. However, a $60 million stadium that's going to get condemned 2 years,
Yeah.
I will refer to my previous comments of yeesh.
Yeesh. Yes. Jesus.
Good time.
The rest of this is too much of a bummer, actually. So,
Yeah.
so when you're not writing, when you're not doing your other stuff, Eric,
Yes.
when you're not hosting and creating, being creative, what do
He's
you?
creative.
When I'm not making art.
When you're not making art, punch to the face.
Ow. That legitimately hurt me to rest my face on my fist so violently.
Herculean
Drink away the
gesticulation.
pain.
When you're not doing that, what do you keep yourself busy with? Or with what do you keep yourself
I mean,
busy?
I guess this is related to writing. I write for a music website called tinymixtapes.com. I do that,
It's a cute name.
and then it's pretty adorable. It's an adorable home for your news on avant-garde music. So,
Like local or worldwide? Or?
no, it's based out of Minneapolis, I guess, and by based out of, I mean the guy who founded it is from Minneapolis.
That's where the shared domain is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
The
where
hosting
that
space,
dude
yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
But it's worldwide. It's been around since like 2000. It's,
I meant,
right.
no, I meant specifically the music, your avant-garde music. Are you
Oh,
following,
no,
are you
it-
following a certain scene or local?
oh no,
scene?
no, it's worldwide.
Whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
What do you do to prep for that? You wind up having to listen to a lot, or are you the?
Well, I just write news for them,
Ah, okay,
so like
okay.
I don't have to listen to anything.
So you
And-
write news for a music website, but you don't have any topics that you want to talk about over the week because you've been too busy writing news for a music website.
Yes, that is it. Even though I wrote all of my news for the week today, within like an hour and a half period. That is exactly
And you missed
why.
Honey Boo Boo?
Wow.
I missed
Jesus.
Boo Boo Gate and most of the other stories you talked about.
Well, sure. How long have you been writing for them?
About 5 years now.
5 years? Cool.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
been a second. It's now just become kind of like a habit thing where it's like, oh, whoa, I've been doing this for half a decade.
Right.
Huh, how about that?
Did you find you found them and reached out and said, "Hey, I want to write for you"?
Yeah,
or it was like a really funny comment. They're like, "This guy's great." Yeah,
yeah, there's a scout.
it's the American dream.
There are people scouting my Tumblr page. Like, this guy can really write about music. But despite the fact that I didn't know most of the news stories, I'm actually a journalism major. But I got that major mainly because
yeah.
I wanted to be a music journalist.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I graduated and I saw like I'd been following that website for a few years. And I was like, oh, they're looking for news writers. I'll submit to them. And they're like, yeah, we would love to have you on board.
Yep.
And then my dream of being a music writer has since died, and I've lost all interest. But I still like writing for that website.
Sure.
Because it's kind of a weird combination of both music writing and comedy, because they will let me make up any bizarre concept for the news story as long as the actual news gets reported somewhere in there.
Sure.
I wrote a story about a new Marilyn Manson album coming out, which also, Marilyn Manson's still a person.
Yep.
That's news right there.
We landed. Actually, Marilyn Manson was in the thing that we shot at the Comet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's driving it like a hamster wheel.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what he's been doing all these this
Yep.
past decade.
Yep, that
Yeah.
full ticket. Yeah.
But yeah, I wrote that story, and I think about one, maybe two sentences of it are all about the actual album. The rest is about how when I was a kid, someone told me a rumor about how I killed puppies on stage.
Oh man.
And then the rest is me making up rumors about Marilyn Manson.
So it sounds like actually you could.
Something fun.
It's super fun.
You can make a portfolio and send it to Pitchfork and be a paid writer there immediately.
They would probably say I don't get to the point quickly enough, and all this is insane.
Do they change the way they do stuff?
Yeah, no, they.
Every review I've ever read from Pitchfork was, this album reminded me of when my lawyer was 12 years old, and here's what happened. Like everything was so obfuscated, and then it's like, oh, I get a B. Like, what the fuck? Where? Okay.
Not to get too into like music and nerd opinions, but
Sure.
Pitchfork these days like pretty tame and like
Sure.
streamlined at this
Sure.
point.
Well, eventually you have to get to the fucking point, right?
Yeah. They started making money, and they're like, oh well, we can just make this easy to read. And
Sure, yeah,
be
sure.
very rich people.
Yeah, neat.
All
Well,
right.
we'll definitely have to get some links for that stuff too
Sure.
in the next break, or the
Yeah.
next segment, which we're going to go to after
we'll get into it.
this break. And we'll be back after this.
Break.
Rogan, Seth Rogen.
No.
You know what? That's fine.
Hey, welcome to the show, everybody.
Hey.
Segment 4 of the Fantastic Four, where we don't
Welcome.
talk about penises.
Orange penis.
Orange penises, yeah. Which may or may not exist, depending if you're blind or not. So, we are hanging out still at Don's Depot. We're in Austin, Texas.
See no evil, right?
Still with Eric Nagurney, and Dylan. So this is, again, whatever we didn't talk about that we want to talk about. But it's going to be focused on you to make sure that we get a lot of stuff out of the way. But I want to ask you a series of maybe, I don't know if these are good questions or not. I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
I guess we'll find out.
What is your favorite joke
My favorite joke that
that you produce? Yeah.
My favorite joke is this one about where I talk about having a new pet. It's on my album. If you've listened to all my album, when I talk about having a new pet and how I think you can tell a lot about a person by the name you give their pet. But then near the end of the joke, I reveal that my pet is actually a knife. And it's this weird, absurd twist. And it's my favorite joke because usually I can tell if I am of the same mind of an audience, if they laugh at that or not.
Yeah, sure.
Because it is either the most popular joke in my set or a joke that gets nothing and people are very confused.
Yeah.
And if it goes over well, I'm like, okay, you guys are fun. We're going to have a great time.
Wait, how far in the album is that?
It's about in the middle.
Middle? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you wait until the middle to know whether or not the audience is
Yeah, because you
is
don't want to
receptive or not.
start and then be like, oh no, these people are not going to like anything I do. Oh boy.
That makes sense. At least
Yeah.
you get through half of it.
Yeah.
Before you stress out.
Before that high water mark. Yeah.
And if you ease them into it, they will maybe be more receptive
Sure. Yeah.
than if you
Especially after a couple
went
drinks.
through that coming through the gate.
Well, so what's
Out the
as the opposite of that, like the yang, I guess. Well, what's a joke that you don't like, that you don't want to use
Oh,
anymore,
boy.
or you stop using because
I mean, there's plenty of jokes I've stopped using.
Sure.
Pretty much every joke I wrote in the first 2 years of me doing comedy, I have since stopped using.
How about this? A
Yep.
joke that you hate telling, but audiences get good reaction.
Oh, sure.
So it's
Yeah,
just kinda
sure.
just begrudgingly. Well, people like this one.
the joke
so.
that makes you upset
Oh.
that your audience is not smart. No.
That kind of comes and goes because there are some jokes that like I will stop liking at certain points.
Sure.
I'm like, I'm tired of telling this. I don't find this funny anymore. But a lot of times I will then regrow to like that joke. I'll start liking that joke again.
Sure.
A joke that I used to use this as my opener was a joke about like playing people who play the acoustic guitar. And I say that I play the acoustic guitar and how it helps me pick up women. And then I talk about how like I get a girl back to my room and I play the Monster Mash at her. And like I do think that's a funny concept, but I always want it to be more than that, just that one
Sure.
punch.
Yeah, sure,
and
sure.
nothing I ever add to it works.
Works as
So
well
it's
as
so
just
frustrating.
Yeah, sure.
So when you like are coming up with jokes, do you have like a process? Are you trying to like write something? Or you? I mean, some of your stuff, obviously, your Twitter stuff, you have
Yeah.
random thoughts, which are awesome.
It's both.
Okay.
I try to sit down and write a certain amount every week, but a lot of it is just like I'm doing something and something pops into my head,
Right.
and then it grows from that.
Do you ever feel like using Twitter again as an example, again, something I love for modern comedians? Do you ever find yourself hesitant or keep yourself entirely from using a joke that was on Twitter?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Not even a little bit.
Okay.
Pizzas,
Oh,
yeah.
pizza.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, there's pizza here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
ours.
yeah. Will you go grab that?
Yeah.
Yep.
I shall.
Do we just need to vamp while picks up the pizza?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you have reused the material. Well, I was curious about that too because you can make these little vignettes of a thought, right?
Yeah.
And then the thought can be a bigger, longer joke.
Well, absolutely.
But like, it's not you rehashing something you had on an earlier album or something, you know. So
No. I mean, like, it's a lot of my writing process is looking back at tweets that I had,
Right,
and then like,
right.
how can I expand that? I very rarely will do a joke on stage that came from a tweet that's just the tweet spoken.
Right.
But
Thank you for being the only person who's ever been on the show who actually cares about that, about banging the table.
yeah,
Like,
if y'all didn't notice watching or listening or whatever,
Yeah.
I banged the table and then I stopped because I felt bad.
and I appreciate that.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
But no, I think Twitter is a really good writing tool for developing material because for me, I use Twitter to put out any idea I have.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it doesn't matter. If it doesn't get anything, it just goes by on people's feed and they forget about it.
Right.
And then that is done. But you'll either realize it'll get faves and retweets and you're like, oh, there might be something to this idea. Or it may not get faves and retweets, but you can still look back at it and be like, that's an idea that has some comedic possibility.
Right.
It may not have worked as a tweet, but I might be able to expand it into something on stage.
Right. Do you see Facebook as anything like that, or is Facebook like not worth it anymore when it comes to doing comedy?
I don't really do a lot of like comedy on Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, I will sometimes post something on there if it just
Yeah.
feels like the right quote unquote medium for
Sure,
it,
sure.
but it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
I don't really use it as a writing tool at all.
Mostly for marketing, I guess now. But even Twitter seems like it's better for marketing than Facebook. I mean, our experience is sure.
Yeah.
And then Tumblr. I see you do have a Tumblr.
I do have a Tumblr.
Do you do the same things? Like I did not actually get a chance
There's-
to look at your Tumblr account.
There's pretty much no comedy stuff on Tumblr.
Okay.
Like it's
That's all personal for you.
I saw a lot of Simpsons stuff on there.
Oh yeah, I mean there's
Okay.
comedy stuff that other people have done that I've reblogged. but
Sure.
I saw Mr. Sparkle screen cap, so
Oh,
that's
so
why I
good.
knew you were a good guy. So.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Sparkle.
Ooh, the sparkle test.
That's actually that was the last question on the 17 magazine.
Also,
Are
a
you
good
dateable?
spirit animal
So-
to answer.
Mr. Sparkle.
Mr. Sparkle.
Yeah.
My spirit animal is that cow that he shatters.
There you go.
Hyper specific, and I love it.
Yeah.
Nice. Was there anything else in the feed of things that we talked about you wanted to cover, Dylan?
No.
Anything else? Anything else that you wanted to cover when it came to things in general for the week?
No,
or?
boy, not really.
Not really, not
Like,
really.
I cannot think of what happened in the last week.
Sure,
I
yeah.
went to work, and then I went to open mics. I watched some movies in the last 2 days,
Sure.
and I
Well,
dog sat.
So what'd you watch in the last 2 days?
Oh, part of my thing at Tiny Mixtapes is I have to submit music and film lists
Okay.
for like their year-end list because they also do film.
Yep.
However, I realized I had only seen like 8 movies this year.
Sure.
Which I'm supposed to submit a list of 10 movies.
Oh, yeah?
So
Yeah,
they sent me like their server of like screeners and stuff. So I just downloaded a ton of movies from there.
Right.
And I just watched some random ones, and it's all like weird art movies for the most part, which
Sure,
is
sure.
something I like a lot. But the movies I watched in the past 2 days were Vic and Flo Saw a Bear, Child's Pose, and
Wait,
Stranger
they
by
made a
the Lake.
movie adaptation of Child's Pose? Wow.
What is Child? Is that?
It's a Kevin Grisham novel.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Dang it. I would have totally believed you that it was a novel. I was like, oh, is it about a Romanian guy running down a
Oh no, it
young
was
child?
it was actually part of the Blade canon. It's different. It was absolutely different. Yeah.
that movie wasn't about that.
Is it origin story?
Origin story. Yeah. Child's
But
Pose.
all those movies were really good, so I recommend them if you can find
Sure.
them anywhere.
Sure.
I Love Video might have them.
Is it are they all esoteric movies like that, or
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
None of them were in English, I'll tell you that now.
Oh, good.
2 of them were in French, and 1 of them was in, like, Romanian.
would you get fired if you watched Avengers and were like,
No.
I liked Avengers?
No,
because
not
of-
at all.
Okay.
I've been seeing other people's lists for that website, and, like, Guardians of the Galaxy has popped up on a lot of
Sure,
them.
sure,
Like,
sure.
Pacific Rim was on the list last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're pretty open to, like, mainstream movies as long as it, quote-unquote, has something to say.
It's not anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anything at
It's
all?
like if there's something they can be like, hey, there's this good about this. Then
Sure.
All right.
Neat. Well, that's yeah. Okay, so watching movies.
Yeah. Catching up on movies this year.
Yeah. To get your last 2 on your quota. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. Please take this time right now, actually now,
Hello.
to talk about what you're going to be doing this next week and beyond.
You know what? I've got all sorts of things coming up. This Thursday, November 20th, I'm going to be on a comedy showcase at Hops and Grain at 10 p.m.
All right.
And then December 2nd, also at 10 p.m., I'll be on... These are all showcases, so I'm going to stop saying comedy showcase after everyone. I'll be on a show at the North Door called Blue Cabernet Comedy. It's hosted by my friend Kat Combs. Oh, the Hops and Grain show is hosted by my friend Brent Peasley. These are all hosted by friends of mine.
Sure.
December 3rd, I will be at Crapshoot at Cold Town Theater, hosted by Amber Bixby. Also December 3rd, also at 10 p.m., so I'll be running between these 2 shows, is the Tits Comedy Showcase, hosted by Chris Castles and JT Kelly, which I think is at a bar called Bar 2211. I'm not positive.
There was an extra 2, I think. Maybe 2211.
2211?
Not 22211. Because that's
That's too many twos.
too many 2s. That's in Taylor, I think. Yeah.
Ooh, I have
Yeah,
no
maybe.
interest in that. And then on December 21st is the monthly show I host with my good friend Katie Stone that we talked about earlier, Set Reset, at the New Movement Theater, and it is at 9:30 p.m.
9:30 p.m.
So I have all those
and
things.
It's always a Saturday, right?
It's the
Or
third Sunday of every
Sunday.
month. So
Cool.
it'll be right before Christmas.
All right.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
And I definitely recommend coming and seeing everything that you do because you are
Thank you.
you are funny. And
you.
I don't want to. I want your head to fit through the door before you leave. I'm not gonna.
It's already
Cheetle
pretty big
size.
for my tiny
Cheetle
body.
size.
Cheetle size. Yeah. Fill a room.
Oh yeah, and then there's also, I forgot to mention, my open mic every Monday at 8:30 p.m. It's called The Opener. It's presented by the New Movement Theater, but it's not at the New Movement Theater.
Sure,
It's at
sure.
Hotel Vegas.
Hotel Vegas,
And
yeah.
I host it with my friend Dean Kirkpatrick.
It's a rad little area, east side. If you're in the Austin area, if you're not in the Austin area, you should come check it out anyway. You
Yeah,
should-
just come hang out.
yeah, just come out.
Yeah.
I mean, just for the weekend, it's easy.
Yeah.
If you live in Amarillo, like, what are you doing in Amarillo?
What-
Or buy his album.
What are you doing at Hutto?
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, Hutto's too far.
I don't know where Hutto is, so
Sure.
No one does.
No, it doesn't actually exist. It's a ghost town. Yeah, and then buy the album.
Yes, my album is called I Love It Though.
Yeah.
It is at Eric J. Nagurney, nagurney.bandcamp.com. Nagurney is spelled Nagurney. I think you can handle the rest of those spellings, but it's $5 to buy. You get an MP3, and you can stream it for free.
And it is funny.
It has cover art by my friend Cal Hilton, and the cover art is a picture of an adorable Welsh corgi.
Of course.
So there's that for you.
Which is redundant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen a Welsh corgi and been like, what an ugly dog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Get out of my face.
We
Insecure,
already know
yes.
that one Banjo is going to love it. So.
Oh, of course. Yeah. He's gonna buy like 6 albums.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna buy 6
He's
copies.
going to give one Henry.
Yeah, of course. He is a corgi fan. And you can also be found online at...
Twitter on my Twitter account is I was more like twitter.com/enagurney. But who looks for anything on Twitter that way? My Twitter handle.
You know how long it took
Yeah.
me to get him
Yeah.
to stop saying it that way?
Yeah, I used to call it DrunkCastLive.com. Yeah.
It makes sense. My Twitter handle is enagurney. I'm on Tumblr, reblogging old Simpsons screen caps from 20 years ago at
yeah.
ericjnagurney.tumblr.com.
Yep.
I think I'm on Instagram as enagurney, I think. But if I'm not that, I'm Eric J. Nagurney.
Are there a lot of E-Nagurneys out there that are taking up your space?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
There's an Erica Nagurney. I used to be Facebook friends with her, and
Until she got went weird, I guess.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I think at the point where she realized I don't need all of these people with my same last name friends with me, who friended me in 2005 when Facebook just started to be a thing.
Hey, what do I search for? My last name.
Yeah, be friends with all the Nagurneys. Why not?
Right. Yeah. Well, nice.
All right.
Facebook and stuff. So great! Thank you so much for being on the show.
No problem,
And
thank
having some
you.
drinks with us and just talking. I hope you want to come back.
Oh, I definitely want to come back. This was a blast.
Yeah, because we're the best.
We try.
That's
yeah,
true.
we try to.
And now we can eat pizza.
If you want to know,
Yeah.
we're gonna definitely eat some fucking pizza. If you want to know more about the show, you can go to DrunkCastLive.com. You can go to Facebook.com/DrunkCastLive. You can look up at DrunkCastLive on Twitter. You can do a Google search for DrunkCast Live, and you can find us on the iTunes store and the Zune store. You can subscribe. You can also go to YouTube and look for DrunkCast Live, which I'm sure will show up in the Google thing too, and stuff. I want to thank Optimind for being so patient with us because they've been really, really rad, and probably heard some bumps in there. And I want to thank Eric for coming and hanging out with us. I want to thank Dylan for helping me run the show.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for listening or viewing or whatever it is you do that you do so well. And I'm Travis, and we love you so much, and we hope to see you next week.
Thanks, folks.
DrunkCast Live is a podcast that's recorded live around bars and drinks, but we do drink and podcast responsibly, and we hope you do too. Please come check out more about the show at drunkcastlive.com and go to facebook.com/drunkcastlive or twitter.com/drunkcastlive.